guys, welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how I've planned and prepped for our first unit of this homeschool year. So our first unit that we're actually going to be starting with is from Campfire Curriculums. It is their, I'll just show it to you. It is the Through the Eyes of a Storm Chaser Meteorologist, and this is what's going to kick off our 2022-2023 homeschool year. Now, the reason why I want to start doing these videos is mainly to keep me accountable, because I got kind of lazy last year and I was very much a poor planner, and we would get to certain activities, I wouldn't have the stuff together or I wouldn't have the link pulled up, and then I would be lazy and we just wouldn't do it. I mean, there's no other excuse. I was being lazy. And so I'm determined that this year I'm not going to do that. I'm better than that, and I'm not going to do that. And so I've done a couple of things to get myself ready for that. Now, if you hear someone screaming in the background, no one is dying here at the house. My son is playing his Oculus and he gets a little passionate when he's on there. So just ignore that. You don't need to call the police. We're all okay. So the first thing I did, obviously, when I got my unit from Campfire is I printed it off. Now, there are so many ways to bind these units. I actually have a binding options video. If you want to check it out, I'll try to remember to link it. But for this one, I thought, hey, let's just use the 3-ring binder. And so that's the first thing I did, was just printed out the unit. So you don't even have to print these. You can actually use these on a device and read it from there. So however you need to get prepared in printing the unit or making sure it's on your device, you would do that first. I also went through it, and the things that I wanted to maybe hang up around where we do school, I printed those on cardstock. So I just made a little Post-it note. I put it beside me at the computer, and I wrote the page numbers of the things that I wanted to print on cardstock. So things like the periodic table and this, I wanted to have it printed out nicely so we could hang those up. So I have certain things that are on cardstock. Now, so I've got all that printed out and ready to go, and that's in here. And then I actually took the core connections and I put them, I bound them this way with the Pro Click. So, you know, this would have been fine just to stick it in the binder, but for some reason I did it like this. I didn't get them ready on the same day. So you can bind these any way you want to. It works fine. So you're going to print your materials and get them ready. Then one thing I like to do is to sit down and to go lesson by lesson. And I like to plan it out, I mean, honestly, page by page. And what I used to do that was this really neat unit study planner. I'll link it below because it's free. It has like these daily lesson plans. They're supposed to be full sheets, but I didn't need it to be a full sheet of paper. But what I just did, instead of putting like the date, because I don't know what date we'll do each of these lessons, I just put like the day, and then here I would write what lesson it was. And you guys, I have like divided it up between reading activity, all those kind of things that I want to take pictures of. I put me a reminder to take a picture of it because I like to kind of document what we're doing through pictures as well. And then what I love about this is prep for the next day. So any materials that I need to get for the next day, I wrote them down here at the bottom. So I went through every lesson and decided how I wanted to break it up. Now, you honestly don't have to do that. You can open and go. You can read the lesson, do the faith talk, the think tank, and then do the activities. But what works best for my son is to break up the reading with activities. And this year I'm going to be prepared. So I have it all written down and have went through every single lesson. So that's just one way that I get myself started. I also made notes at the top of things that I wanted to purchase, like read alouds, a weather station, any of those kind of things that I wanted to purchase. I went ahead and put that up at the top so that I would know I needed to get those things. So this was just helpful for me. Is this necessary? Absolutely not. But it's going to help me stay on track. So another thing that I did to help me stay on track was, and I know I'm so fancy, you can get yourself one of these little great Amazon boxes too. This was sitting right beside my desk when I was planning all this stuff. And so I've just kind of been putting everything I need for this unit in this box. So the first thing that I have in there are the 2 books that we're going to be reading. He's going to read I Survived the Joplin Tornado. That's going to be his independent read. And then together we're going to read The Big Wave. I thought those would be great weather books to read. One thing I did purchase, and I'm not much of a person to go out and buy a bunch of things to go with units, but I thought this would be fun. This is a weather station. It's called You Track It Weather Lab. This was one of the cheaper ones. Of course, there are very expensive ones out there on Amazon that cost lots more money and offer lots of things. But I thought just for what we're going to use it for, this would totally work. And so I'm going to let him put this together on the first day of our unit. So that's in my box. Now, the other thing I did to help myself get prepared is I used this handy dandy prep for tomorrow list, and I just took some gallon Ziploc bags. This is how I organize my stuff when I taught school, and I'm like, why did I not use that at home? So what I did is for each lesson, whatever I needed to help carry out the lesson, I put in the bag, and I just wrote like lesson 1, day 2, because it'll be day 2 of our unit because we're going to put together the weather station on the first day, and we're going to watch a weather movie on the first day. So the second day is when we're actually going to get into the unit, and so that's in there. And then I put a yellow Post-it note in there if there's things that I need to run and grab around the house that wouldn't fit in here, like a jar or a ruler. Those kind of things I'm going to have to pick up that day. And that's just kind of what I did throughout the entire thing. So like this is lesson 3, day 4. This is something to do with the skip if you want pages. So I have that in there. Just everything we're gonna need. And it wasn't a ton of things. That's what's so great. A lot of it was very simple things. The only thing I'm gonna have to go out and buy are skewers and gummy bears because we don't have those at the house. Everything else I had around my house, the balloons, the dry erase markers, the tape, all that kind of stuff I had around the house already, so I didn't have to go buy a ton of stuff. I just need to go run and get those few things. So this is going to help me stay on track. I can grab the bag I need and we are ready to go that day. He's not going to have to be waiting on me anymore, and I'm happy about that. So I'm going to stick all this back in here so I don't lose it. So another thing that I want to tell you about, and I'll try to link it below, but I think you have to go sign up through it. You have to go sign up through your email. Bookshark actually has a free weather unit, and while we're not using that whole unit because that would be pretty redundant, I am using one of the lessons about Tornado Alley, and I liked this map. And so I went ahead and just printed what I liked out of it to stick in here to use, you know, if I want to cover those things. And then for the core connections, my son's language arts is he's going to be learning how to do public speaking. And so I'm trying to get him used to being graded on, you know, to have some expectations. We've kind of just, you know, we're homeschoolers, you know, it's okay. And we kind of been really relaxed, but I do want him to know that he does need to work hard and this is what's expected out of him. And so I found this free rubric for oral presentations. This was on Read, Write, Think. And if I can remember, I will link it down below also. And this will just kind of show him, you know, if you want all the points you can get, then this is what I'm going to expect out of you for your presentation. So you don't have to do this. I'm just trying to throw out some ideas if you're looking for something like that and you need to keep grades. Now, one of the questions I see people ask all the time is like, well, where do your kids record their work? There aren't any worksheets. And thank goodness there aren't, because that's what we really love about this curriculum. So you can simply just use a spiral notebook. We have done that before. We also do a lot of things orally. That works just as well, but so does a spiral notebook. But one of the things, and I shared this in my Amazon haul that you've probably already seen, is we are going to be using the School Nest notebooks to just, this is where all of our work is going to go this year. Any of the units that we do, we're just going to put all of our work into here. So I bought the history notebook because there is history in the core connections. This does say 7th grade notebook because the 8th grade notebook's not out yet. He's an 8th grader. This is going to be like for his language arts, so where he will plan his, I cannot think right now. It's hot outside and I've been outside all day and I can't think. This is where he will do his, like for his presentation for public speaking. So it just has like the dot grid and the lines. And so he's going to use that. And then I bought a science notebook. So anything that I take pictures of, If he wants to draw the water cycle, if he wants to draw the recipe for a thunderstorm, whatever it may be, it's going to go in here. And then I also bought a history timeline notebook so that as we learn history, we can go ahead and document them in our history timeline. So you don't need those notebooks because, like I said, a spiral notebook works just as well. I just want to be a little bit more fancier this year. So there's that. One more thing, got to go get it. One more thing that I want to share with you in case you want to add a little bit extra to it. Now, I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think that we will do this. I actually printed this for the other little boy that homeschools with us because he won't get all the lessons because he doesn't come every day. So I've got him his own unit, but I think it would work perfectly with this. And this is the Tornadoes unit study. It's from Peanut Butter Fish Lessons. We have used a lot of their Who Was units, and they were great. And so I printed this for him. This is free. You just give them your email address and they'll send it to you. There are a ton of free ones on there, so you definitely need to go check out that website. It's amazing. And so he's going to also read that Joplin tornado book. You could really use any. It tells you what books you can use, but it has wonderful things in it. It's got like facts about tornadoes and I mean, there's tons of pages of facts about tornadoes. Then you've got like, how does a tornado form? So if he's here on the days that we're doing campfire and he's here during that time, he can certainly do it with us. But a lot of his work he has to do independently because he comes later in the day. So this is how does a tornado form? And then he's got a thing about following directions. It's a mapping activity. So you honestly, you could go through this and pick and choose what you want to use, or you could print the whole thing. This also has where you compare and contrast a microburst in a tornado and a hurricane in a tornado. So, and I just put any of the cutouts that he needs in his own little folder here. So I wanted to show you that because that's free, and I know a lot of people are always looking for extras to add to, so I thought I would share that with you. So that is how I've planned and prepped for our first unit of the year. We are so excited to get started. If you haven't tried Campfire, go check out their website. It is awesome. You can also join Campfire Crew. They are so encouraging on there. People share the pictures of what they're doing with each of the units. There's so many great units to choose from. You will not be disappointed. If you have any questions about Campfire curriculums or about any of the things that I shared with you today, let me know down in the comments. If there's anything else you want to see or you need more details on, let me know because I love talking about this kind of stuff. And as always, thank you so much for watching.